All right, so this is going to be a review of the AllPowers S1500 Power Station. It supplies 1500 watts continuous, 3000 watts peak, and I'm going to try and put it through its paces. Okay, so this is what you get. You got a very simple manual, the battery itself, an AC adapter, and then a little bag for the adapter. And I guess you could put the manual in there. It's about the size of a car battery, an automotive 12-volt battery. Actually, it's bigger than most nowadays, but it's pretty good size. I'd say it weighs somewhere in the 25 pound range. It's got a good carrying handle. It's got vents for the batteries down here, vents for the inverter up here. You've got some solar charging inputs here, the Anderson style ones. This is where the AC adapter goes in. That's a 12 volt, like a cigarette style outlet, so you could charge 12 volt devices. More vents. Okay, on the front, we have four 110 outlets. You've got two LED lights with separate controls. These are some controls for the battery, digital display. Back here, you've got your USB ports, compact USB that goes both ways. So if you have a high-speed USB charger, you can plug that into an outlet, plug it into here, and it's going to actually charge this battery. Considerably slower than the AC version, but it would work. A couple of more DC outputs here, 12 volt. So to operate the unit, this brings it up. This is going to show you the estimated runtime in its current state, 432 hours. You have two more buttons. One is for DC operation. So this is going to power up the DC outputs over there and the 12 volt over here. To turn on the AC, at first I thought something was wrong with it, that you had to, it wasn't coming on. You have to actually hold it for about 3 seconds. When you do that, you're going to hear the inverter fan go off. So that's it. We've got all the ports powered at this point. You can see the little icons for DC, AC, and the USB out. And we're not putting any watts out right now. It's just sitting here. You can turn on each LED light individually. And they're pretty powerful lights because if you look, it's cut the power by over half. So if we just left this in a basement during a power outage like this, I'd recommend you turn off your AC and your DC outlets. But you could run for 172 hours with these lights going. And you could add considerable time just by doing that. So that's several days of just lights. So that's it in a nutshell. It does not have wireless charging. I was wondering if it was going to have a wireless charger up here. It kind of looked like it would, but it does not have wireless charging for a phone. But it's got lots of outputs. They're saying it's a 1,000 watt or a 1,500 watt power source, and it can peak at 3,000 watts, which that's pretty incredible for something this size. So I'm going to put it through its paces. I'm going to just plug a bunch of stuff into it. We'll do a hairdryer. We'll do coffee maker. I'll do some stuff in the van and just kind of give it a quick rundown and see what it's like. All right, one thing I forgot to mention was the Bluetooth support for this power station. You hold down the power button for about 3 seconds and a green light's going to illuminate. That'll let you pair it with the AllPowers app, which you can download from the App Store for your iPhone or for an Android. This is an Android version. It's fairly simple, but it's actually pretty cool. Once you pair it up, it's going to show the available power station. You're going to click on it, and it's going to bring up some options. Lets you turn on the AC, DC, on and off, and you can set the hertz there. 60 is what you should have in the United States. You can also turn on the lights on and off. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so we got a bunch of devices here. We're going to just, maybe you're at your house, you lose power, and you got a few things you want to power up. This is a very typical little workload. So we're going to power on the unit. We're going to turn on the AC. We got that going. We're going to plug the ASUS laptop in first. Make sure it's up and running. All right, so we got that up and running. It's showing a charge on the display. It's putting out about 100 watts. Second thing we're gonna do is plug in your was this your iPad? And wait, actually wrong cord. So yeah, that should be. So that's charging. We're at 120 watts. We're going to plug in an iPhone, get it charging, 49%, and it's showing that it's charging 111 watts. I mean, we're really not even taxing this thing. I'm going to plug in a Pixel phone, and it's charging. I think it's charging. It's charging. So let's see. We've got a small battery pack here that we're gonna plug in to get it charging. Got a USB-C over here. And that should kick in. Oh, actually, I know why. This has got that bipolar thing. It's actually thinking it should be putting power into there. Let's change this one with this one. So now, there we go. So the circuit on this, on the big generator, thought, even though there's a very small amount of power coming out of this battery, it wouldn't recharge it through the USB-C, because if it detects any voltage, it's trying to take it in, not put out. So I just had to switch it around. So now I'm plugged into a 110. That's getting the charge. And then last but not least, my old dependable Pixel book. Plug it in. Wake up. It's charging. So right now, we're not even, I mean, this is not even doing anything to tax the system. Let's see, I also brought, here's some drone batteries. Let's plug those in. So now the drone batteries is starting to draw a little more watts. So it's pulling 256 watts out. And at this current situation with these multiple devices, we've got the laptop, 2 cell phones, drone batteries. We're charging a battery pack and an iPad. At this current state, we could go for 3 hours and 30 minutes. And this would be perfectly adequate for a power outage, because you're not going to need these things charging the whole time, obviously. So this is just a good example of what you can do with multiple devices, and it has no issue. I've got all the AC ports taken. I've got two USB ports and 1 USB-C taken. So no problem keeping up with multiple devices. And this is a pretty light load on it. When we get into the hairdryer, coffee maker, and things like that, we'll really be taxing. But this is just a good example of how you can use this to do multiple devices and not have to wait around for a port, which gives you a lot of flexibility. Okay, so I've got my Keurig Cuisinart, whatever brand this is, plugged in. It's not plugged into the wall. It's plugged directly into the battery. So we're going to go ahead and give this a shot. We're going to see if we can Just make some water. You can see that that's drawn about 1,000 watts. You can hear the fan kick on. And if I was to continue to run it like this, I'd get about 47 minutes of run time. Not bad. Still have 86% left. And that should be about, that's it. So you can see the amount of time remaining, 300 and something hours once it kicks back off there. So yeah, 370 hours of runtime left. And that's the coffee maker test. Okay, so we've got the Dyson hairdryer. We're showing 373 hours, 85%. Let's just go ahead and turn this thing on. Turn the heat to max. So we're at maximum heat. We're showing we could run this thing for about a half an hour. She's pulling about 1,400 watts and no problem. So yeah, that's impressive. You can hear the fan kicked on in the inverter. And we're still at 84% left. So passes the hairdryer test. Okay, so we're out in the van right now, and I've got the induction stove out. It's not plugged in. So one of the things with our van, the Winnebago Revel, if you're running that AC, you cannot run the stove. And if you're out in the sticks and you don't have a generator or additional power, if you're going to use this induction stove, you're going to go through a crap load of the batteries inside the coach. So this is actually going to be pretty nice. So we can we're going to go ahead and fire up the AC, and we got some water in here. I'm going to plug this in. All right, so that woke up the induction. I can power it on. You want to move this cord a little bit and get it out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and power it up. And you can select, let's see, we're going to go temperature. So 270. So actually, let's go with heat. So I think it goes from 1 to 10. And right now, we're at 5. And it's showing a draw of 480 watts, 479. Let's just go ahead and take it up and see how much this can take. So we're at 10 right now, which is the max that this induction stove can do. It's pulling 1,200 watts, showing we can do this for 20 minutes. Nobody cooks at level 10 for 20 minutes. You're going to burn everything you have. So this is pretty extreme. The fact that we could do that for 20 minutes is pretty crazy. Normally, if you're just out there doing some cod or some fish, salmon, 4 or 5 is where I'm at. And same thing with a steak. You might go to 6. It's really rare to go up to level 10. So right now at level 6, I could go for almost 45 minutes of cooking, which I don't spend 45 minutes cooking anything. So, and we could have the air conditioner running in here. and that would be no problem. And this is just a nice supplemental power source that gives you that flexibility. But yeah, that's awesome, and it's hot. I mean, we'll go ahead and establish that this is working. So 1200 watts. Okay, so thought I'd test out the lights at night. Let's say you're outside, maybe having to change a tire, or you just want some light around the campsite. This is what you get. These two lights do a fairly good job of casting a pretty decent beam. So pretty handy for outdoors at a campsite. And then if for some reason you were to just blow all the power in your van, you could use it to light up the interior until you restored your van power. So to charge the power station, it comes with a pretty good size power brick. Plug it into the wall, and shows about 230 watts input. So it's going to take a fair amount of time to charge this if you do let it get all the way down to less than 20%. It's a pretty good size power brick, and it does generate a fair amount of heat. So just keep that in mind. You're going to want to keep it out in the open, and actually brought the flare out here to show you what kind of heat you're seeing. But yeah, it gets fairly warm, but it does the job. I didn't use my solar panels, just didn't have time for this review. All right, so that's my review. This is not a long-term review. I just had it for a few days and tried to put it through its paces. Seemed to power up everything I had just fine, and pretty practical little unit with a lot of versatility. Not sure how it's going to hold up over time. Like I said, I've just had it for a couple days, but I'm going to keep it in the van and take it camping and see how it works long term. So as always, thanks for watching. No need to subscribe. You don't need to do a thumbs up. Do whatever you want, but I do appreciate you watching.